I, William Jefferson Clinton, do solemnly swear.
I, Jimmy Carter.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
So help you God. So help me God.
So help me God.
So help me God. So help me God.
So help you God. So help me God.
So help me God.
Rutherford B. Hayes. The name might not spark immediate recognition like Lincoln or Roosevelt, but nestled between the tumult of Reconstruction and the Gilded Age, he occupied the Oval Office at a pivotal, often misunderstood moment in American history. Tonight, we pull back the curtain on a president whose election was perhaps the most contentious in U.S. history and whose quiet integrity shaped a nation yearning for healing. Get ready to discover the man behind the mustache, his quirks, his convictions, and the surprisingly delicious details of his life. Born on October 4, 1822, in Delaware, Ohio, Rutherford Burchard Hayes arrived posthumously, his father having passed away just 10 weeks before his birth. Raised by his devoted mother, Sophia Burchard Hayes, and an influential uncle, Sardis Burchard, young Rutherford was instilled with a strong work ethic and a love for learning. After a brief stint practicing law in Lower Sandusky, now Fremont, Ohio, he settled in Cincinnati, where his legal career began to flourish. But Hayes wasn't just a bookworm, he was a man of action. When the Civil War erupted, despite his age, 39, and established career, he volunteered for service, eventually rising to the rank of Brevet Major General in the Union Army. He was wounded multiple times and served with distinction, a testament to his unwavering commitment to the Union cause. It was this wartime heroism that catapulted him into the political arena. Now, if you think modern elections are wild, you haven't seen anything until you've looked at 1876. The election pitting Hayes, the Republican, against Democrat Samuel J. Tilden was, to put it mildly, a total mess. The results were so close and so riddled with accusations of fraud and irregularities in several southern states that for months no one knew who the next president would be. It was a nail-biting, nation-on-edge situation. Ultimately, a special electoral commission was established and in a deeply controversial decision awarded all the disputed electoral votes to Hayes, effectively making him president. This became known as the Compromise of 1877, where Democrats agreed to accept Hayes as president in exchange for the withdrawal of federal troops from the South, effectively ending Reconstruction. It was a contentious start, but Hayes, ever the pragmatist, understood the weight of the moment.
An achievement, arguably, was the ending of Reconstruction. While controversial, it led to a period of relative calm, albeit at a significant cost to African Americans in the South who lost federal protection. But Hayes wasn't just about ending things, he was about starting them too, particularly when it came to cleaning up government. He championed civil service reform, aiming to replace the corrupt spoils system, where political allies were rewarded with government jobs, with a merit-based system. Did you know that Rutherford B. Hayes was the first president to have a telephone in the White House? Imagine being able to call someone up from the Oval Office. He even had the first telephone number listed for the White House. Now let's talk about the White House, or, as it was during the Hayes years, the Lemonade White House. His wife, Lucy Webb Hayes, was a fascinating figure in her own right. A staunch advocate for temperance, she famously banned alcohol from White House events, earning her the nickname Lemonade Lucy. Can you imagine a dry White House in the 19th century? That certainly raised some eyebrows. But Lucy was more than just a temperance advocate. She was a committed abolitionist and a strong proponent of civil rights for African Americans, often hosting African American guests at the White House, a highly progressive stance for the era. She was, by all accounts, a devoted wife and mother, and a formidable intellect. Rutherford Hayes himself was not known for extravagant tastes. He was a man of moderate habits, enjoying simple pleasures. His favorite meals likely included hearty American classics, perhaps roasted meats, stews, and fresh-baked bread, comforting and unpretentious fare that reflected his grounded nature. He wasn't one for lavish banquets, preferring quiet evenings with his family. Before the presidency, Rutherford and Lucy lived in a comfortable but not ostentatious home in Fremont, Ohio, called Spiegel Grove. This was Lucy's family home, and it became their beloved refuge. It was a spacious two-story brick house surrounded by beautiful grounds that Hayes himself meticulously cultivated. It was here that they raised their 8 children, though sadly 3 died in childhood. The house was a hub of family life, filled with books and a strong intellectual atmosphere.
Reflection of his life and values. Rutherford B. Hayes was a deeply devoted family man. His relationship with Lucy was one of mutual respect and affection. Their correspondence reveals a tender and supportive bond. He relied heavily on her counsel, and she was a constant source of strength and inspiration. His children adored him, and he was known for being a patient and loving father. His personal habits were quite disciplined. He was an early riser and enjoyed reading, especially history and literature. He was known for his meticulous record-keeping and his thoughtful, deliberate approach to decision-making. Unlike many politicians of his era, he avoided alcohol and gambling, preferring a quieter, more studious existence. He was a man of routines, finding comfort and efficiency in order. Compared to some of the titans of industry during the Gilded Age, Rutherford B. Hayes's net worth was relatively modest, though certainly comfortable. He had inherited some wealth from his uncle, Sardis Burchard, which included land and other investments. His legal career also provided a solid income. By the time of his death, his estate was estimated to be around $600,000, which in today's money would be several million dollars, but certainly not in the league of the wealthiest Americans of his time. He was not driven by the pursuit of riches, but rather by a sense of public service and duty. After serving 1 term, Hayes famously kept his promise not to seek re-election, a rarity for presidents. He returned to Spiegel Grove in 1881, trading the pressures of the presidency for the peace of his beloved home. But his retirement was far from idle. He dedicated the remaining 12 years of his life to a range of causes close to his heart. He became a passionate advocate for universal education, believing it was essential for the advancement of all citizens, particularly African Americans. He also remained deeply committed to Civil War veterans, serving as president of the National Prison Reform Association and promoting reconciliation between North and South. He often hosted veterans gatherings at Spiegel Grove, fostering a spirit of camaraderie and healing. He was a true statesman, never shying away from difficult conversations, but always seeking common ground. Rutherford B. Hayes's health began to decline in the early 1890s. On January 17, 1893, while on a trip to Cleveland, he suffered a heart attack. He managed to return to Spiegel Grove, but his condition worsened. He died peacefully at his beloved home on January 17, 1893, at the age of 70, surrounded by his family. His last words were reportedly, "I know that I am going where Lucy is." The effects of his presidency and his life on the country were significant. He helped stabilize a nation reeling from a deeply divisive election, ushering in an era of relative peace. His efforts at civil service reform laid the groundwork for future governmental efficiency, even if the full reforms weren't enacted until after his presidency. He was a quiet force, a principled leader who, perhaps more than any other president, understood the power of a peaceful transition and the importance of a nation moving forward together.